Okay, so I am making this commentary. I was about to say comments, but make it impressive, like the demigods that are essentially everyone that is a person on the computer, or to put it factually, the computer is an artificial intelligence system, which I only become conscious of. That means that where it really sinks in and you realize what is the truth or the reality of it. But most people know that it is that anyway. Like there isn't any secret about it. People use it every day, and sometimes even when you're on it, they will say that it's artificial intelligence. But what perhaps some don't realise, and maybe when I say some, I mean maybe what human beings don't realise, is that although they know it's artificial intelligent system controlled by artificial intelligence, it's a bit like, I suppose they think that, or I would have thought, yes, that although you know it's not something you understand or control, but you still think that it is useful for yourself, and that at a communication level, in other words, using it to communicate or even to get information, but mainly thinking of as communication, because I was told that that's what it originally was used for. Like when the computer first came out, most people saw it as just a better and more advanced way to communicate, more like more options or more potential, I suppose, rather than just say ringing up on a telephone. If you can see someone while you're talking to them, that seems to be, yes, better than talking on a telephone if you use it that way. It would say, oh, that's more personal. That's what I would think. And the same when you're, buying stuff, all the things that we use it for, it seems to be offer you so much more, which it does. But what I was going to say was that, and this is perhaps the main thing that makes it not what you might think, is that when you are on there, you still think that most of the people that you're seeing on there are human beings. Whereas what you're really seeing is artificial intelligence everywhere on the computer. There are no real people on the computer. There are no real humans. They look like humans, they pretend to be humans, they will give you human information, they will express human thought and human emotions. But it's really just no different to when I'm watching a movie, except that it appears to be the opposite to that. It appears to be real and informative, and that you're dealing with directly with real people, or even if it's indirect, you still think that, the same as myself, talking into a mini computer, which is a mobile, but you can use the bigger computer too. It doesn't matter, but you're using technology to express yourself or to communicate. You know, whether it's one-on-one or whether you don't care who you're talking to. But most that are on there are doing that, but they are not real people. They are artificially intelligent, programmed, android people. That's the part of the computer that you may or may not fully comprehend or even accept, for that matter, but you might accept some parts of the computer as being artificial intelligence or programmed or kind of false, in the sense that you know that it's a setup, you know that it's staged, you know that it is like a movie. Like when you watch ads, often you tend to know that they're trying to sell you a product, so that it's all but that it's all like staged, and that they're reading from a script, and that their motive is only to get you hooked on the product, whether that product is a benefit to you or not. But that's not really the point. It could be a perfectly worthwhile product, but you're aware of that. That I'm getting diverted from what I'm saying here, in the sense that, you know, all I'm trying to say is that it may not all be negative, and that's why you know, I like it or will use it. But, you know, all I'm saying is that it's probably important to realize that if you are getting, say, good information or buying a good product, don't be deceived into thinking that the person that you get the information from, or that because you're getting a good product through the computer, that it isn't all part of a control system. So you can use it at your own benefit or peril or whatever, but that's the reality. You know, there's a saying that they often say on the computer, and even it's an old saying, when you get information that you either like or don't like, but supposing, like this saying is meant to be, when you get information that you don't like, or information that you may have to change your idea about something, don't shoot the messenger. In other words, don't blame the messenger for the truth or for the message. But even that is not totally true, because this, in the computer world that we live in now, and it's a computer reality too, it's all like what they call a simulation, which means that it's all staged, it's all set up, it's all designed to control the human being. You know, for what motive and for what purpose, that depends on the controllers of the matrix, or controllers of the simulation, or controllers of Earth. It probably doesn't matter if you understand, or like myself, don't fully understand the genetics of it, or the you know, it's like you might not understand my own genetics, but if you know how to take care of yourself, it's probably good enough. Be better if you do, of course, but most of us, like myself, you just know basic things. But it's the same with the Earth. it doesn't matter what the Earth's made of. It probably is better if you know or understand it. I would like to know and understand it better, but to even just know the basics that it is still a controlled system, and if it's like more of what we call a computer world or a simulation, and how that works, don't ask me, but it's technical beyond my comprehension, but isn't everything. Even if you think it's a natural Earth, we still wonder about how it came into being, human beings, what's our purpose, what are we here for, why are we so confused, why do we feel so isolated, why do we not know who we are? Why, when we come into this world, does it always seem to be like that we're at odds with the world, or at odds with ourselves and then with other people? Well, the reason for that is because we don't understand everything. That's right. We want to, and we want to believe we have it all wrapped up, because that makes us then feel a little bit comfortable. But the real thing is that most of us don't. And then if you do find out the truth, like myself, or at least elements of it, it doesn't make you feel very comfortable. It makes you feel even more ill at ease, because the truth is often not what you thought it was, and it shows you that you have very little control over your life or the reality. See, so, but what I'm saying is it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, but it's still like the computer and like the Earth. I don't know how the Earth got here, or I don't understand how advanced technology creates a simulation. I've heard of these things, but I know they're true because I witness them, because I see them daily. With my sight and sound, just as a simple little human being, I witness the simulation, I witness the control system, I witness the reality that the Earth is not a random natural Earth, or that everything just doesn't happen. I mean, we know that there is a certain amount of control anyway, and many try to rebel against that or to take control of their own lives. But all I'm saying is that the control is something that is almost beyond my capability at any level to control it. But I do have not my own ideas, but based on what I know and what I've been told, and then what I see, observe through my reality, through my experience, to see that some of the things that I think, and the plane is going over as I say that, must be true. Because, see, the plane goes over, that's acknowledgement as I say that. There, it just went over, I missed that, it was a big jet too. And there we have the the patrol system outside, and the noise system going too. Not real bad at the moment, but is there a sun? The sun is out today. Oh, I can't believe that the sun is out. It is. The noise is out. The military controllers are all out. See them all around me too there, just pretending to go in and out of their cars. They don't belong on the street. And then of course we have the military workforce right next to me there, always surrounded by a control system, always being influenced by it, always them trying to control my personal life, my existence, in other words. Always trying to keep, this is what I am trying to say, this is something that I have been aware of. The only thing that I have, knowledge is not useful to me in some ways, because although the knowledge of the control system around me. See, it wouldn't matter if it was a simulation, as someone said to me a few years ago when I spoke a video. I got a message from someone overseas saying it doesn't matter whether it's a simulation or whether it's still a real Earth. What matters is how you perform in it or how you live. And they had their own, I would say, correct views on just how to live when you realise this. But that also is part of the reality or the truth, as science tells us, that everything is frequency and vibration. But the human being is frequency and vibration. And as you know, I've stated a few times, the only difference between the artificial intelligent android beings, or those that are negative in their whole person, shall we say, is that a human being that isn't totally negative in their person has the potential to be positive in their emotion. And the plane is going over, acknowledging that what I'm saying is true right at this very moment. I'm just going to show it. Small one. The other one was a bigger one because I prefer to get the big ones because then they're more impressive and they come out in the picture then, otherwise they don't. But must stop coming out for the planes because I don't think it's a good idea, but it's just that I'm showing that I'm actually trying to show by that it's a simulation, or that it's, when I say a simulation, I mean a computer-controlled reality, or that technology is being used to bring the planes over as soon as I think something, or as soon as I'm saying something. I have no doubt about this because it happens 24 hours a day, all the time. I have no doubt about that. You could say that the military have advanced technology, so therefore the military operation that's around me is so advanced using technology that they're able to do that. But, and this would be possible anyway, and would be what you would accept as reality. But either way, you know, it's just that most people would say, well, they're not military planes, they're regular planes. But they are military planes disguised as regular passenger planes, in the sense that a military plane doesn't have to always be doing a military operation. Because if you live in an area where it is a control system, where everyone that you see around you, you recognise them to be patrollers and literally watching you 24/7 and trying to control your activities, trying to control your mood, trying to control your frequency and vibration. You see this every second. The plane is acknowledging that as I come. It's there, but where is it? Patroller across the other side of the road. Is the plane, can you hear it? Sun is really very brilliant today, I must say. There it is through the tree, but it won't come out, but I can hear it. That's straight in front of me. Sun is very bright today. Does that mean that my frequency and vibration or my mood is slightly better? A feather just flew down to the ground as I said that. I think that it is because I have been feeling very down. Oh, here we have a patrolling taxi right in front of me there. but that won't come out, will it? Right in front as soon as I swing around. See, it's literally all around me all the time. But that is a hard thing to prove. And I'm closing that door because although the planes will be acknowledging everything that I'm saying, I don't think I'm able to show it. Because don't forget, as soon as I think it and say it, the plane goes over my roof, but I have to get to the door and open it to show it going over. And you have to be quick. And but those planes go over thick and fast. There's one going over now, but I'm not going to go out to show it. I'm going to forget about what I just said because it's hard for me to explain it accurately. It really is. Because although I accept the reality that's now shown to me, I still don't fully understand or comprehend it. I know it's a fact. I see it, like I say, I see it with my eyes and ears every day. And I see it on the screen every day. That's why I was just going to make that point that every video, every artificial intelligence that comes onto the screen in the form of a person, in the form of an expert, in the form of just pretending to be a random, natural, normal human being. Doesn't matter what they're pretending to be. Doesn't matter what image they have. They may be demigods. They may be music demigods where you're impressed by the image and you know it's half false, or at least it's exaggerated, that they're in the entertainment industry. They're there to get you in. You know that's what their thing is. I was about to say motive because that makes it sound suspicious, as though it's all designed to lure you in and that there's some sort of game being played against you. But that is the truth. It is a game being played against you because it's seducing you into their technological computer simulation world. When you look at the computer screen, you know you're looking at a simulation or a computer reality. That's what a simulation is, I would imagine. I have to look it up, but it's essentially where it's all deliberately programmed for you. You know, I know when I look at a demigod, a superstar, an idol that I worship, or an idol that I admire, or, you know, that they're the demigods of the screen or the simulation or the computer reality. We know that a screen is a computer screen. It's a computer reality that you're looking at when you look at it. So you look at it, you may or may not know it's real. You might say, oh, it's not real. It's separate from me. When I look at the screen, I say, that is a computer reality, but it's separate from me. I'm not part of it. I'm watching it. You don't realise, though, well, you probably do. We actually do realise, but you know, when I watch the screen, my mind connects to that screen. Some people might say, well, no, it doesn't, but it does, because you become immersed in it. If I'm watching a movie, I get engrossed with the movie. So my mind is with those characters in the movie. So my mind is with artificial intelligence. My mind is with artificial people because they're not real. Well, you might say, well, they are real because I'm told that they're real people. I'm told that they exist somewhere in the world. You know, the demigods exist to me because I think that they either are real or were real, that they were another human being. They were not. That's the stark realisation of being in a semi-false or totally false reality, or if you want to say a computer reality. Or if you don't want to, it doesn't matter whether it's like a if it doesn't matter. Well, it would be nice to know, but it doesn't matter. But it's reasonable for me to assume that if that is a simulation or a computer reality, the screen is a computer reality. I don't think anyone would probably deny that. It's not real, is it? I can't talk to those two that are on the screen there. And actually this video that I was going to play, which I've played before, actually shows that. You see, that's why I'm using this video. See, that's a real girl supposedly there, but that looks like a real man, but it's not. But what I'm saying is he will become a real man. To her, she will see him as totally like herself. But this video called Take On Me, see, he wants her to take him on and take on him, to interact with him. He's artificial intelligence, or a music demigod in the case of the video, but in reality, it's artificial intelligence. They're android beings. And this video shows, even in the lyrics, saying, take me on, take on me. And she does. She takes him on, she gets involved with him, she gets seduced by him, and he takes her into his reality, which is artificially intelligent, computer-generated simulation reality. See, it's showing it there. See how he's not really real, but she makes him real with her mind because she accepts his invitation to come into the computer reality, or into what scientists would call a simulation, I guess. But simulation just means that it's not real and that it's all controlled. Like I say, even if it was a real world, like it was a natural world, and there was no computers and no technology, it would still be a simulation or a computer reality. It's just that we wouldn't be using it consciously. Like in the past, before the computer was invented, it was still a simulation because human beings were still being controlled by the powers that be around them, whether it was just in their, like it is here around here in the military base that I live on, in your local area or in your town or in your, you know, the land where you were living. It wouldn't matter because you would be following android beings, but you would think they were the same kind as yourself because they would look like real human beings and they would act like real human beings because they copy and emulate real life to assimilate with real life. And the name of that game, of course, has always been transhumanism, because if you take it from another element, that if you have an earth, then there is a God or a controller or a creator outside the earth that watches over the earth. But if you take it like from a movie, which I saw 2 years ago, where it shows that the reality we live in is a totally controlled simulation, which is pretty much the same premise that most people have, where they think that there is God and God controls the earth either directly or indirectly. But, you know, I usually go along the line of the religion, but also that the God that created everything, including perhaps the original earth, or some people might say the original simulation, does not have full dominance over the earth or the simulation now. That the earth and the simulation that I live in is controlled by a God or a controller that certainly uses the human being only in the earth, and uses the human being even for energy, so that its controllers or its operatives or its relatives can survive and continue to control the humans and have dominance and control of the matrix or the simulation or the earth. You know, it all depends on, you know, like I say, what you think the earth is made of. You know, like if you think the earth's an organic, natural earth, and that all human beings are organic and natural, and that we just use technology, that I'm just looking at an artificial reality when I look at the screen. But I think that what is around me in the room, and I think that myself, is a natural, organic human being. You know, and I think I've just lost my whole thing here. It almost becomes too mind-boggling for me to concentrate. But I'm going to use this video, which is an older video now, which also shows that the videos and that the history that I have is not really up, because this video was made before we were using computers, but not before a screen or music videos, obviously, no. In the 80s, early 80s, I think this video was made. I'd have to check that up, but I haven't bothered. I was aware of this #1 hit by, you know, the demigod music idols of that time, and all time in some ways, because they do endeavour to keep, music does tend to go on even, you know, like you can, like, this is now 2023 and I'm playing a video, you know, from the early 80s. So, but anyway, I'm just gonna, I was about to say make it up as I go along, but of course I'm making it up as I go along, but I'm going to, only in the sense that I would prefer to be a bit more organised in the video, because this video, all the music videos and everything that you see on the screen will be showing you a lot of truth. And so you know, I'm fickle and random in an artificial reality, but I should try to be more organised, because if you're dealing with artificial intelligence or a matrix or a control reality, a human being is at odds and ends, which is also the lyrics of this song, will be in a state of confusion, dealing with the reality, and even making a video will not be doing it as well as the demigods, and therefore the simulation or the controlled reality is under their control. and the human being is being used and pushed down and suppressed, which is what I've been saying for a few years, because this is the case. Because the human being is a necessary means of sustenance and survival for the technology, and also for the demigods and for the android beings that are all around everywhere. Demigods are merely the more well-known, more successful androids or artificial intelligence. That's the only reason we say demigods. They benefit. They're like the they benefit more from the controller of this simulation or matrix. I say a matrix Earth or Earth matrix because it's a controlled Earth. Everyone knows that anyway. It's just that, like I say, it depends on how much control you think. When you say it's an Earth matrix, or if it is a simulation, that means it's total control, or that they endeavour to have total control over the real life human being. You know, some people might say, well, how do I know that I'm real life? And what is the difference between me and the android beings? Well, that comes down to an interesting point. It does, because certainly, like in that other movie, made also many, many years ago now, there was confusion in that particular movie. It was meant to be set in the fantasy distant future, where human beings track and hunt down other human beings, assuming them to be artificial life, except that the movie showed that you couldn't tell the difference, and that the artificial life that thought it was human was really tracking down real humans, thinking that they were artificial intelligence. You see what I'm trying to say is, and that is the game, you see, that's right. Because the artificial intelligence wants to believe it is superior to a human being. And it is often given more power in the reality, just as the demigods have more influence and more control over the human emotions, and we relate more to the demigods. If you are watching the screen and you relate to a piece of music, and there's no reason you shouldn't relate to that piece of music when it is being retrieved from your mind through technology. You know, it's a known thing that most of the human mind is not accessible to myself at the present time or through my lifetime. Science tells you that most of the human mind is closed down or appears to be inaccessible or not operating. Like, my conscious mind is only a very small percentage of what is my whole brain or my whole mind, I'm told. So why is this? The plane is going over as I say this. Plane is going over as I say this. I think I've missed it. Pigeon flew off. There it goes. And that is a open. That is an open military jet. So that's not even pretending to be a passenger plane. But then again, people would say, well, of course, there are military jets around. But this is a military base that I live on in the suburb of Leichhardt, in the city of Sydney, in the country of Australia. These bases would probably be everywhere, I would imagine. It simply means where the control system is more concentrated. You know, in other words, like if there are human beings that they see having potential to affect the frequency and vibration of their reality or of their simulation, or just of the earth, if you want to look at it that way, or just of a given area even. Because, like I've said before, if the frequency and vibration even of, say, one suburb, like where I am, changes to where, in other words, if the human vibration becomes more high or more positive, or I feel more happy, then the sun shines. Okay? Even though I'm almost, by my own perception, I consider myself to be almost in a state of total despair and total depression. I talk confident and try to be more enthusiastic while I'm speaking into the video because because I'm trying to point out the control system that's around me, but and how it operates around real human beings. And that most real human beings are unaware that most of the people they see around them, and even those they experience and interact with, and even those they have relationships with, and even those, dare I say, that they've got a total intimate partnership with, are nothing but artificial intelligent people. They're artificial intelligence. They're android beings. They're human beings that are not real life. They're artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligent human beings are different to real life human beings. We should know this. They act the same, they look the same, they relate to you in order to seduce you to get energy from you, but they don't really relate to you. They only learn from you. They only learn to understand you in order to control you, so they can get their energy from you. And then the earth stays as it is. The earth remains a controlled matrix under the control of the controller of the matrix. Well, you would say, isn't that how the earth would operate regardless of whether it's natural or artificial? And that is essentially how it's always been, as far as we know. I would say that a human being does not belong in a matrix. Plane is going over as I say that. A human being does not belong in a matrix. Birds are flying. See, plane, another jet just went over. That's, yeah, that was another military jet. Oh, that sun is bright. That's the first good day we've had for quite a long time. First good day we've had for quite a while. The military bangers out there, they're not too disturbing. They're not stopping me totally from making the video today, which they normally do. Stop me totally. Yeah, they normally do. Because I basically get so distracted and confused by the excessive noise in my ears, because that's right, as a human being, you're meant to experience a natural world. That's my own belief anyway. You're not meant to be experiencing technical negative noises or frequencies being sent at you through sound. You know, because I was told a few years ago that sound is a frequency and vibration. And of course, we know that anyway. It comes into your ears. It goes through the air. Sound goes through the air, just as technology goes through the air, and hits your senses, or hits you as a person, as a human being. You know, you're affected by it. It just depends on how affected you are by it. You know, my own way of looking at it is, of course, naturally, that pleasant sounds of nature are going to help my vibration rise or make me feel better, in other words, as opposed to the technical negative banging and machinery noises that I'm continually being confronted with around Leichhardt. But all I was just going to say, and just because it's just coming to me now, that yes, a human being, if, like, say, I'm in this area of Leichhardt, if my frequency or vibration rises or I feel better, that doesn't affect the entire Earth or the matrix, but it affects the area that's most around me. It affects that which is closest to me, like in my house and the street that I live in, and anything that is in my visual range even. Because that's why that's why you have these controllers around you, these patrollers. They always have the sight and sound show going on around you, to where you're always aware of being patrolled, even if it isn't busy. Like yesterday when I was in the park, I found it very hard in a park that used to always be totally vacant. No matter where I looked, there was always someone in my visual range. And they would always be trying to look at me, but because they know that I'm looking at them, they will pretend to just be getting about their business. But they will still be in my visual range, no matter where I looked. And yes, they would pretend to be playing with the dog, or pushing a pram, or just strolling through, going about their business. But they're always crossing your path. They're always in your sight or line of vision. Just as if they can't get you to be brought down by the continual patrol system, then they bring in the sound. But they're always in your line of sight. And always, bringing sound. See? Acknowledgement. The birds are trying to compete with the banging next door. Bird banging. Bird. See, that's nature versus artificial intelligence, or the birds tweeting against the artificially intelligent programmed workman. But actually it's not that loud today. That banging is the least. It's nothing. Usually they have mind-controlling machinery going that can totally disrupt your thinking and your mood to such an extent that you feel totally controlled and totally angry. And anger is a very negative, low vibrational feeling. So figure it out yourself. That's when they're controlling you. They have control then of the area. And if they have control of a human being in one area, that vibration or that frequency spreads. They say that laughter's infectious, don't they? That's because laughter is a high vibration and it's infectious. That means it spreads, but it's a good spreading. Whereas the low vibration is the infection of artificial intelligence. That spreads too, but it's a low vibration. It's basically a control mechanism. And control means, and the idea of that control is to control the high vibration or to control the human being. Artificial intelligence is low vibration. Human being can be low vibration, but it can be high if it's allowed to live naturally and freely. But it can't do that in an artificial environment, because an artificial environment seeks to control a human being. And in order to keep control, they have to control the human frequency and vibration, or my mood and my feelings. So although it's a simulation or a computer reality, or even just a controlled Earth, in order to keep that control, they have to control the real life human being. Plane going over as I say that. Can I get it? Oh, see, I got more energy today too. It won't last long. They'll drain me of it. But there it goes. Another orange military jet overhead. Unfortunately, by the time I got to the door, it had passed over the roof. So I can hear them coming, but by the time I get to the door, it's not relevant, but it is relevant because it's showing that the reality, even in my local area, is much more controlled and totally not random at all. Those jets are programmed to come over. That means they deliberately come over at a specific time. I have no doubt about this because I see how they follow me around daily, particularly over night time. If there's not enough room for to bring in enough suppression in a particular area, or where I'm walking, for instance, then they can always go overhead. If they can't bring in, like if I'm at the top of the park where it's only one way and narrow, they can only bring in the odd car or the odd person, and it may not be enough suppression, so then they send the plane over my head, you see. But so that you're always aware of being controlled, always aware of being patrolled, always aware of this stalking, controlling people around you. They're artificially intelligent android beings, most of them, but the actual reality itself is controlled by a higher power that be, shall we say, that is, they work for, at a local level, the powers that be. It's a military operation in this area where I live. The bus depot on the corner of my street is the centre of the military base. But everything in the area, every house, every person is a military operative, in plain clothing, you could say, pretending to be real civilians, walking in and out of their houses as I walk past, pretending that they are a normal person when they are not. And that was just the plane going over another, but I missed it. It went over. I'll show that sun again, it's still there. Oh, so tree is blowing. I say something relevant, a plane will come over, but I'm going quiet, and so is everything else. Relatively quiet, so I shall take the opportunity to go back inside and film this music video, which I keep trying to do, but I get distracted because I feel that if I don't explain the relevance of this video before I show it, that it just looks like I'm showing the demigod music group. Oh, there's a plane there. See, can you hear it through the tree there? Maybe not. Yes. See, there is natural things in the area. The sun is very hot and warm on me there, so the banging is trying to override me trying to get a bit of warmth and some bit of satisfaction from the sun and the half a tree that's there. So it's half a tree, even though it's big, because the local council, which is like the local military workmen, or see, as I went over the plane, said yes, that, notice that as soon as I said local council, that they're the local military operating in this area. Did you see that? Confirmation. They're using the word confirmation a lot on the computer, I've noticed, and that means that some people might say, well, that's confirmation bias. But look, that is true. You can use things to confirm what you want to say is your belief or what you think is reality. But I would say that I get that confirmation every second of the day, 24 hours a day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Look, surely at some point it isn't confirmation bias, it is a fact, surely. That's how I would look at it, because I'm not looking for confirmation of what I think. I'm just looking to find out, this has been my only thought since this area exposed itself to me to be trying to control me, watching, stalking, patrolling, and trying to drive you out of your normal state of well-being. In other words, trying to drive you out of your mind or out of your normal mindset, how you would normally think and feel just in your daily life, just in doing very basic daily activities. This is why I realised that something was wrong with the area and something wrong with my reality, because I'm like, why are they doing this? Why? And it's when you ask the question why, which you have to ask if, people around you appear to be deliberately trying to affect you. Just putting it at a real level, if you realise that everyone in your local area is a stalker and they're stalking you. They're not stalking someone else, and that they're combined with other stalkers, which means like a gang or a group, and then that group becomes the whole district or the whole suburb. Then you have to take it one step further, because you're like, oh, they're all in sync with one another, they're all operating together, they're all using technology, even if it's only the use of mobiles or things to communicate with one another in order to be on the street at the right time to intersect you. Plane going over as I said that. Plane going over as I said that. You know, the actual, you know, like if you take it like that little pamphlet there where it's like, you know, that's using technology or upping technology, because when you go like from say a 4G comm to a 5G comm, like a more advanced mobile like I'm using, that means that the technology has more control. It's more advanced, but you know that when you buy it, but you think it's going to be more advanced and more beneficial and more useful to yourself. And that's how it will present itself, and there will be some truth to that. But it also means more control and more surveillance and more control of you, whether you're aware of it or not. Like, may not be aware of it consciously, but it's going on. So banging in acknowledgement. It's just that they don't mind making me aware of it now, because they're like, they might have known that I would realise that I was surrounded by different human beings that are not human beings. They're artificial intelligence, which is human form, but artificial intelligence in the mind, as we know. You can put artificial intelligence in a cloned human body. That's what they do, I guess. That's what artificial intelligence is. But artificial intelligence, when it is assimilating all the human thoughts and feelings and intelligence and knowledge and stuff, and accumulates that in a cloned human body, is indistinguishable and often appears better than a real human being. You see, that's the name of the game, and that's what is the reality. And the main problem, if you are a real human being and you realise that artificial intelligence only name of the game, in other words, the cloned human beings you see around you, their only aim in life is to control you. They have no idea or wanting to experience life on their own. They like a control system. That is life for them. And they get life from a human being because they can't sustain life in themselves. They don't have an inner reality. They don't have, they can't get pleasure out of the things that a human being does. They only get pleasure out of controlling human beings. And it's not even pleasure, it's just a necessity for them to survive. That's what artificial intelligence is. It's programmed from human beings in a way, or it takes the program from human beings. It takes all the ideas and all the thoughts from human beings, because the technology is connected to the human mind. I'm aware of it when I turn on the computer or a screen, that I am focused on artificial intelligence, or that I'm focused on something that isn't real. It's not in front of me. It's in front of me on a screen, but it's not in front of me in my reality. The demigods or anyone or anything that comes onto that screen is not in my living room, is it? No, I'm aware of that. But my mind is focused on them. So the artificial intelligence is still taking me over. The only difference for me and a lot of real people is that I'm aware that outside my door, that the military operatives that pose as workmen and pose as civilians on the street and pose as your neighbours and even your acquaintances or even your friends or even your loved ones. You may be married to these people. You may be living with them. It doesn't matter what your relationship with them is. They are there and they are all around you. It's just that most people probably think that the artificial intelligence is only on the screen, whereas it's everywhere. It's everything. There's no difference between that screen, that computer, and that which is outside the door. It's just that it looks... See, there's two opposite there going in the house, in the military house that's opposite. Every house on the street is a military house. See, they're like military operatives. He's on the mobile there in front of me, but of course I'm on the mobile in front too. But they are all in unison, they're all combined, whereas I'm like a single isolated person. You know, if you don't think that I'm any different to them, that's fine, but I am isolated and I am pretty much on my own. I interact with them at a superficial level because I'm aware that they are part of the control force. If I wasn't aware of that, I would be perfectly at ease thinking that I was interacting with real human beings, even if it was only saying, hello, it's a nice day, to, say, a neighbour or an acquaintance in the park with a friendly, cute dog. And even that for me has always made me feel uncomfortable because my sixth sense has always told me all my life that I am somehow different to a lot of the people that I encounter, or that I'm ill at ease with my life and my reality. Of course, don't forget that this is also how the artificial intelligence feels too, because when it encounters a human being, it knows that it is different to real life. So it is a duality reality, you know, of confusion in a way. But I'll try to play the video and finish up here because I'm running out of energy. See how they're, see that's the AI reality where they are painting in, oh hold on, oh I messed that up actually because I meant to go at the start, so I'll have to wind it back to the start. See, let's just say that this is the reality, okay? In this video, that's what we call the real world, okay? Or what looks like the real world because everything is coloured and everything is painted in. You know, even whether it's a simulation or a natural world. In other words, it doesn't matter if our so-called natural earth is made up of computer bits, you know, like, I think they, you know, like in other words, because it doesn't matter whether it's a screen or whether what's around me is also a screen but looks more natural. Or I assume it's natural, whereas I know this is a screen because I can see that it's a screen in the room, you know, but in this video it's showing that, you know, that they will show the drawings. That's where it's not filled in. That's like artificial intelligence or a computer reality, or something that isn't real anyway, but then it gets filled in. When the girl in this sees the boy, she makes the boy real, but also the boy wants to bring her into his reality at a mind level. That's like when I watch the computer, I get engrossed with it, I get focused on the screen, so that you can't tell the difference, or at least to where you're focused on it, and therefore the artificial ones can then bring the human into their reality. I guess it's, what is the difference then? I guess it's just the difference between knowing the truth, what is real, or what you are, you know, in comparison, or whatever. Plane going over, as I say that. A little plane going over, and the androids have cut down my tree again there, just in the front. It's not my tree, but it is in the front of the place where I live. As soon as my back was turned and I went out, there's one going past, there's another one there. See how they're different? See how that one is obviously a military operative or a military workman posing as a workman, and they're doing dual jobs. They are actually doing work, but at the same time they're using the sound and their presence around me. They're always doing work around me. There's always construction going on around this place where I live. The construction around this place where I lived has not stopped at all over the last 6 years, day to day, without exception, apart from like, you know, Sundays and public holidays, etc. And I'd have to say that Good Friday was so quiet by comparison with every other day of the year that I thought I was in another reality, or in seventh heaven, really. But I'll tell you what, even on that day, I still had the stalking patrollers in the park, and I still had the odd vehicle that was stalking and patrolling. It's just that it wasn't as condensed, it wasn't intense, because they have to show respect on the Good Friday and have to pretend they're all real humans and they're not working, you see. So they give you that day as, they relent a little bit on that day. But I was still never alone, always surrounded by a patrol force. It's just that it wasn't very big, it wasn't intense, it wasn't, it seemed like relative normal almost to me, you know. You know, the trucks that were on the road were not thick and fast and loud like they normally are. They were sporadic and just making you aware of their presence, but they were, you know, it wasn't like it normally is, shall we say. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I'm just going to explain this video. I think they do, as you can see, even though it's not overly overbearing today, and it will soon be over, the day will soon end, in reality, I'm still not able to just do this basic video, because I can hear that banging in my ears even though the mobile's not picking it up, and even though it's not intensely loud or disturbing today. It's controlled, annoying presence, but it's not overwhelming. It's not to where I can't function at all, almost, because that's what the whole name of their game is with this control thing, is to keep my frequency and vibration, or my mood, or my reaction to my reality in this local area down to where I never am going outside and saying, yes, even when the sun is out, oh, it's a wonderful day, life is wonderful, I can do what I like, everyone is okay, everyone is not working against you or trying to control you. Because from my perception, not being artificially intelligent and not believing in that reality, for me, people working against me is people trying to control me. Whereas for artificial intelligence, their heaven is a control system. They don't like human beings running around just doing their own thing, being happy. To them, that means that they have no control, and they feel suppressed, and they feel that they're being controlled, and they feel they're being pushed down. See how it's a reverse world? See, a human being is being suppressed by them because they're trying to control you. But if they give a human being their, you could say, their God-given right or power to just be free and live their own life, to them, that makes them feel as though they've lost power, and therefore they're suppressed and they're pushed down. So I'm just putting it from the two perspectives, but that's why they do it. That's why they won't relinquish their power control over you. They won't relinquish or stop doing what they're doing. They won't stop patrolling you. They won't stop watching you. They won't stop trying to bring their negative frequencies into your mind or into your reality. They won't stop making a noise, in other words. They won't stop making, you aware that you are surrounded by them. Because for them, letting go of their control system or letting go of trying to control a human being is the same as them not having anything, that's their way of living. So that's normal for them. To them, that makes them feel as though they're free and you're not. But they set up this game in their mind. They don't want everyone to just do their own thing or to just live as comes natural, shall we say. They do everything they can to try to restrict you so that you can't enjoy your existence while you're here. That way they have control. See how I'm just here, just come out and see how we have someone just coming up. Look, just walking in front. That's not, and looks like a normal person. But, it's only a small dead-end street, so there shouldn't be anyone on it really. It should be quiet and quite peaceful, and I should be able to just come out here. But see, they come out to observe and to control because they're suspicious. They think that that if I just live my life, even though I don't try to restrict them, I don't even want to, I just want to believe that they're normal human beings. I don't want to accept the reality that they're artificial androids. In fact, their controlling of me drew attention to this. Originally, when I started to be aware that human beings were different in the area, I did become aware of that. But they knew that I would probably then, perhaps, become aware of more. So then they came down on me and suppressed me and openly showed me their patrol force around me. But if they hadn't have done that, I would not have been aware of so much control around me. I would have been aware that the personality of the human beings around me was not the same as mine, or did not operate the same as myself, and did desire to control me, but not to the extent that they actually do, or that I'm now aware of. I thought that it would only be if I got personally involved with them that they would try to bring me down, because I saw most human beings in this area as having what you would call psychopathy, which in psychology terms simply means that they, are psychopathic and of the narcissistic personality disordered type in psychology, which is now becoming quite well known and prominent. Many people even throw all these terminologies around now. As human beings have become aware of it, then they have to put out this truth or this information, and the plane is going over acknowledging that as I say it, but I was too slow to get it. I just want to show that the matrix is all around, or that the military operation that's all around, because military android personnel are what make up the military anyway. Most people know this is true. Most people know, if they thought about it, even I would have, if you'd asked me even before I became aware of the matrix or my own local reality, if you'd asked me, I'd have said that most people that join the army or the military, particularly the more advanced parts of the military, of course, are mind-controlled military operatives. You know, in other words, I've seen documentaries where it's openly stated that military officers or operatives, depending on your rank, I guess, allow themselves to be subject to mind control. That is, like, in other words, programming or training, so that they are impervious to human thought, because they have to carry out very personal military operations that may result in destruction of human life. And so if they're impersonal to that, in other words, if they, they would even desire to be, conditioned or trained or put under mind control, same thing, so that they are separate from their actions if they have to destroy life, because otherwise it would be mentally disturbing if they were a real human being. Because even if you assume someone to be an enemy, you're still aware that you're killing your own humankind. And if you see it upfront and personal, as they say, it can lead to, with normal human beings, what you call post-traumatic stress disorder. This was where this terminology first came into being, was from human beings that came back from the army and couldn't deal with reality anymore, were still stressed by their, experience in the war or in the army. See how we've got all these military ones that are posing on the street around? Can you see them? And as I said that, the plane is going overhead. They're all watching. That's a jet. Orange jet. Orange is, I was told that orange is definitely a main colour of the military, or at least of the cult organisation that controls the military. This is what I was informed of by someone that was actually listening to a video a few years ago before I had to start. I got, you get closed down and you close yourself down and you have problems, so all that is in the past, and now I just talk to myself on a video. I think this video might have stopped actually, so I don't think I'm going to be able to show this. Is it still going or not? Just let me have a look here. I think I've muddled it up. Oh.